update time again. Right, so I've got paint off this back guard and back door as far as I've got so far. Still got to get in here on the back side and get in and get a bolt, but I've got to go borrow a smaller socket set because I can't get my socket. Need to get the nut off. Unfortunately, that's the only socket set I've got here. All my other tools are still in New Zealand, so I've got a few basics, but nowhere near the tools I had over there. But yeah, what can I say? Check the body filler on this car. At some stages, there's done some body work on this before, and the bottoms of the quarters have been replaced. If you can see that, and you can see the weld mark through there. Yeah, and it's had obviously the odd knock and dent over the years, which is understandable. Like the car's 50 something odd years old, but like the body filler on it was probably minimum probably a couple of mil thick, and in places it was like probably up to 5 mil thick, I reckon, easy, especially like in the front of that wheel arch, which is probably understandable because it is in a little bit there. But like I reckon it probably could have been easy under half the thickness of what it was. Like it was, I don't know if you can see down that door in that guard. I'll just get a bit closer. You can actually see with the reflection, if you can. It's ripply. But that's mainly because there's so much filler on it. Like I wouldn't say it's like horrendously thick, but it's thick enough that they could have blocked it back a lot further than they did, and the car would have been a lot straighter. Whoever did it last time, like they've done the major body work. Like the white paint's been, from what I can gather, has been over top of some red that it was fully painted red at some stage. Like because the bumper, that back bumper's got red on it. So yeah, like just had some work done at some stage. Like obviously it's probably had maybe body repairs earlier on before that though too. But I don't know. They slapped it on pretty thick and just didn't block it back far enough. Like from what I've been taught over the years, like 3 different panel beaters and my father, and just even watching like a few different things on YouTube and bits and pieces over the years, and from my own experience, I find if you're doing body work, you get the worst of the dents out that you can, especially depending on your tools you've got, obviously. But if you're blocking back, like say through here, you do that panel from there to probably that lip, and you just do that piece, and you block it back as hard as you can until you touch steel. So maybe in 2 or 3 spots on that bit, then you stop. And if you need any extra filler in like low spots, well, you do that. But like this, none of that was back to that point. Like it was, it was an easy probably 2 to 3 mil thick, all the paint all the way through. So like at some point, like it could have been blocked really hard back, and they would have had probably quite a good clean straight car, and they probably wouldn't have had like this sort of stuff happen if it was cleaned up properly. It's possibly been it's had body chrome. Unfortunately, I reckon it's probably been damaged at some stage in its life, and they've taken because it should have had a chrome strip along here around all that bodywork, from what I can see in photos of other cars. So that's been deleted at some stage, obviously, and I have no idea where that body chrome is. I'm not stressed about it. It would be nice to have it, because they've taken the chrome off here too. Like that's been painted, and that should have a chrome strip around it. I'm not sure about every model come out with it, but like they had chrome around here too. But I'm not sure if if every level of specification of these cars had it, or whether some had it and some didn't. I don't know. I don't know enough about them. This is I knew they existed, but this is the first time I've really got into researching this car. But yeah, like the body filler on this was just way too thick for what it should have been. Like it's ripply in places, like and there's odd little damage, and like there's the odd low spot through here and here, but it was just if you can get the main of it down to touch and steel, and you've got a little bit of thickness in the spots where it needs to be, like with a far nicer job instead of that sort of thick ripply sort of what it was. So my plan is today is to try and get the front door and that guard, get the paint off that. So I'm going to spend the next sort of hour or so, and I'll strip this door out. I've still got the glass in this back one, but I've took all the door handle and all the inner trim and everything all off it. I'll take the glass out of it a wee bit further down the track. I just wanted to get the paint off the outside so I can see what's going on. Until I've still got to get a regulator and a gas bottle for my welder, because unfortunately I didn't realise it didn't come with a regulator. So I've got to, it's $100, and then I've got to get a bottle, which I think I can get here, like a small bottle, say like off the guard on, and I think they're probably 600 high, 700 high. Bottle of Argon or Arga Shield or whatever you want to call it, for $118 for 2 fills a year, through one of the places here, which is not, I don't think it's too bad. You pay $118 first time you get one. It's basically like a rental in it, and then you get 2 fills for that money a year. And if you need a third one, well, you're paying that same amount again, and then you get another 2 fills, if you know what I mean. But basically it lasts for 12 months, and then if you don't need it again for a while, well, you can just drop the bottle back and you don't have to pay anything while you're not using it. And if you want it again, well, you just go get another one. If you're doing more work or doing more body work or whatever, like I'm not going to be doing a lot of probably after this, so like I probably won't panic. I'll probably just get some gasless wire if I need to do any little jobs, and if I happen to do any more restoration work, well, I'll go get another bottle. But so yeah, the plan is today, I'll get this door stripped out. I've got the grill and everything out of here. I've bolted the worst of the junk in the engine bay and took the loom out from the plug. Took that out. We've got the horns and stuff out of here. I had them semi-unbolted. Mrs. must have finished taking them out yesterday when I was grinding. I didn't actually realise she'd even done that. So we'll get the bumper off it, so I can get in to get the rest of this painting around here off this guard. So this is the original colour, the blue. Like it's like that, like and around here, like it's really good. Like I'm quite surprised. Like it's never been painted in the engine bay. It's never been painted in even around the doors properly. Like it's still half by blue in there. So that's only ever been sort of been tidied up on the outside. Like the inside of it's been obviously been really, really good nick. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm onto a parts car, which is unfortunately in the mainland, Australia, but it's not far away, and my father-in-law's over there on a trip at the moment, and these engine mounts actually, well, I'll start with the back first. This guy's got a parts car and it's gutted. There's nothing on it except the front subframe and some wheels and whatever, but I'm not 100% sure yet, but it looks like it's reasonable in this back piece. So if it's okay, I'm hopefully going to get him to cut that piece out and get my father-in-law to pick it up, and it's also get them to cut, because these engine mounts have been chopped off. See, they're meant to be actually back. The back edge of the mount's meant to be back here, so it's sitting over the top of the bottom suspension arms with a little slot in it for the motor to bolt in on both sides. So what I'd like him to do, if he can, is actually cut around the subframe and take the whole mount with the actual frame part of it in there as well. And when I get it back here, I'll slowly trim that off and get it right, and I'll weld that back on. Actually, might even be able to see on the back of the eye, and actually noticed that there's a couple of lumps there. I reckon that's where one of the mounts has probably been on it. I'm guessing. I haven't had a real good look in there, so I don't know, but I'm just guessing. You can see there's a couple of lumps there, which is possibly where one of the original mounts has been welded on. Part of it anyway. So I'd like to get that sorted. Another thing I didn't realise with these cars too is it's actually a bolt-in front subframe. This must be sort of in between a full chassis car and the full unibody, like the later 60s on. Even like Dodge and Plymouth and the Australian Valiants, like they're all, well, I'm not sure about the real early stuff like the R series and the S series, but this has got a bolt-in subframe in the front, like a, I don't know if, probably like a, trying to think of like some of the GM products and stuff like that. I think it had like a front part was a bolt-in subframe, and was sort of like the body back. And you could take all the front guards and everything all off, and you could just have the firewall sitting there. So I think this is the same, which I didn't realise. I thought they were that was all part of the chassis, or part of the unibody, but it's not. So yeah, it's about all I've got done so far. Still haven't got the glass out on the front. I'm gonna have to get some. I have to get a glass cutter kit for taking windscreen out. I might see if I can get something off eBay or something like that, just something cheap to try and get that glass out. Like if I had to go with a knife, trying to cut in around here with a sharp knife, but it's pretty tough and old and hard. I need to get a decent box cutter type knife and get in there and try and get all the rubber away. I was just trying to do it with a decent sharp kitchen knife, because that's sort of all I had, but yeah, no, it's pretty tough. So I've taken on plenty of windscreens out before, because that's what I used to do years and years ago in the early, sort of mid-90s, and bits and pieces. Like I used to cut windscreens out of cars all the time when I was back in the day, when I was actually stripping cars for a living. But yeah, it's been so long, I just about couldn't remember how friggin' hard they were to get out, especially the glued in ones. So yeah, we'll hopefully one of these days shortly we'll get that out of the road too. But yeah, that's what we're up to. So hopefully later on the day I'll show you some updates. Like, that door seems pretty solid. I don't think there's any major holes in it. It'd be good to have a decent look underneath and everything like that, but I'm just getting the outside skins cleaned up. I think there's a little bit of rippling down the bottom, like it might have had some damage there before, but I'm just trying to look down it to get a decent view. Like, it's a bit hard with this. The daylight's pretty crap today. It's very overcast, and mind you, it's also early in the morning, so. But I think that'll do for now. And you can see those couple of flat spots in that back guard with us. Yeah, I just can't understand why they had so much body filler on it. You're better off to sand it black, block it back as hard as you can to the steel, and when you sort of just start touching in places where you stop, and go from there. But we'll get there. It just took a long time to get all the filler off it. So I was using a grinder with a wire wheel, with a rotary wire wheel, just strip it all off in the meantime. So I'll do it again. Hopefully there's enough left in that wheel to get this door and this guard cleaned up. Alrighty, I'll catch you later on, and we'll do some more. Cheers.